How much money do you have saved up? It's okay, it's a rhetorical question. Many aren't doing enough to secure their future, and it's a big problem. It's affecting our generation, the 18 to 35-year-olds, really badly right now. So what's going to happen if an emergency comes up? What happens if your kid breaks his arm or your car blows an engine? What are you going to do then? How are you going to handle it? What's going to happen? So I'm a very frugal person. I've been studying personal finance and investing for over 3 years now. And the fact is, people aren't doing enough. They are not saving enough money. They're not investing enough money to retire or to be able to retire comfortably. And it's really not that hard. That's the biggest problem. It's easy. It's really easy to do. And one of the main benefits that comes from that is no stress and peace of mind. There'll be like a big weight lifted off you, basically, because that's one less thing that you have to worry about is money. My first point is people are in bad shape. GoBankingRates.com says 62% of people have less than $1,000 in savings. And CNBC estimates that you need 8 times your final salary to retire comfortably. So if you're making $35,000, that means you need $2.8 million to retire. Now, personally, I think you only need about $1 million. And the reason why is because if you have $1 million and you make 3% on that, which is pretty easy, a dividend, an ETF, or a bond, you can find that gives you 3% yield pretty easily. So you make 3% on that $1 million, that's $30,000 a year. So mine's probably a little bit under, and it's a little bit more risky. Theirs is very comfortable. You won't have to worry so much. I don't know about you guys, but I don't depend on Social Security. I really feel like that's a big waste of money, and I know that even if I'm putting $1,000 in today, I'm not getting the same $1,000 back just because inflation eats at your money. So what happens if you don't have enough money to retire? You could lose your house. You could lose some possessions. You might have to sell something or do something. You could burden your kids. They might have to support you financially for a little bit or here and there for whatever reason. Really, the main thing is you don't know. That's probably the biggest problem is who knows. You know what I'm saying? What happens if you get to retirement? What are you going to do? How are you going to deal with it? So my second point is it's very easy to save and invest money. It's not as hard as people think. And the key things, you need to start now. And the reason is compounding interest. And the key to compounding interest is investing early. And I'll give you an example. $1,000 principal invested now, add $100 every month for 40 years, and you make 7% on that money. You're going to end up with $270,000 at the end of that 40 years. And to paint the picture, compounding interest, say you start 10 years late. So instead of investing for 40 years, you invest for 30 years. Then you're only going to end up with $130,000. That's a $140,000 difference. If you had invested $20 in Coca-Cola in 1919 when they started out and didn't do anything, you didn't touch it at all, you just invested $20, reinvested those dividends, and then made interest on those dividends, and then reinvested those dividends and made interest on those, by 2010 you'd have $4 million. And 7%, that's standard. That's not really high or really low ball. And the reason is because the S&P 500 over its 200 years that's been in existence has posted 10% returns. But the real returns on that after you account for inflation or something is about 7 or 8%. So the 7%, it's not a skyrocket number, even though it seems like it right now because of the interest rate environment. So you need to open up a brokerage account and have money automatically deposited every month from your paycheck into that brokerage account. Then you need to call your broker and have him automatically invest that money into the total stock market. You don't want to be a stock picker. You want to buy the whole stock market as much as possible. And I suggest Vanguard because they have really low costs. They're the lowest. That's their business model, actually. So I like the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index is probably the best one. The last point I have is you'll have a peace of mind and you'll be a whole lot less stress on you if you take steps to secure your financial independence. So anyone want to guess at the number one cause of stress? It's easy. Money. Numerous websites cite stress or cite money as the #1 cause of stress. I Googled it. Everywhere you go, #1 cause of stress, money. Every single one of them. And here's a quote from CBS. Money continues to be the #1 cause of stress. There's also the fact that 22% of the reasons that people get divorced is money. And that's from the Institute of Divorce and Financial Analysts. The Statistic Brain Research Institute cites divorce as the 4th leading cause of stress. So not only is money the top cause of stress, it's also a major factor to the 4th cause of stress. It's very simple and easy to save and invest money. You do it automatically. It's very easy. Set it up, have money automatically deposited, talk to your payroll person at work, and you can have that done. It doesn't take 10 minutes. Probably take 20 minutes and you can have your whole future secured. It's really not hard. If you don't, it's a very scary thought. Some of the alternatives, are either not doing anything or doing too much. We already know the consequences of not doing anything, and it's really bad. What are you going to do? You're not going to have money. I can't imagine what would happen. There's also, you could be more active, but statistically, you're not going to beat the stock market. And so it's really not suggested that you become more active. You just have it automatically done, buy the whole stock market. So many people are not setting themselves up for a secure future. You don't have to be one of those people. Having some sort of safety net allows you to live a more stress-free life. So open up an account, have it money automatically deposited into it, have it automatically invested into the Vanguard Total Stock Market. It's VTI, that's the ticker. So I challenge everybody to do this with $50. Have $50 automatically deposited, and invested, and then increase that every month. And that'll help you out a lot.